77, he said President William Howard Taft granted Haiti a large loan, so he loaned them money. Oh, Deuteronomy 28, man. He shall lend unto thee, but thou shalt not lend unto him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. There we go. A large loan in hopes that Haiti could pay off its international debt. There we go. So they're giving them gifts so they can bribe them, they can get them corrupted. Thus lessening foreign influence. The attempt failed due to the enormity of the debt and the internal instability of the country. France, as the former colonizer of Haiti, retained strong economic and diplomatic ties with the Haitian government. In 1824, Franco-Haitian agreement, France agreed to recognize Haitian independence if Haiti paid a large indemnity. This kept Haiti in a constant state of debt and placed France in a position of power over Haiti's trade and finances. And that was the country still poor till this very last day. Deuteronomy 28, buddy. The curses, buddy. You can't run away from it. Boom, you got it. Although unhappy about the Haitian close connection to France, the USA was not happy. The United States became increasingly concerned with heightening German activity and influence in Haiti. So the German, they start having more influence in Haiti. America didn't like it. At the start of the 20th century, German presence increased with German merchants establishing trading branches in Haiti that dominated commercial business in the area. So the German took over. They start like bringing more business. Maybe they start setting up more business. The German, right? They're trading. America didn't like it. America didn't like it. Babylon the Great didn't like it. The Hammer, they did not like it. He said German men marry Haitian women. There we go. You see, that's the mingling. That's why we got to be careful. You see that? Let me read that to you again. German men, Edomite, is a white people. German men marry Haitian women. You didn't know this, eh? So keep in mind. So when you see a brother look like light skinned, you might want to ask him, who is your father? Let's keep in mind. He said German men marry Haitian women to get around laws denying foreigners land ownership and establish roots in the community. You see, he's cunning. You see that? The United States considered Germany its chief rival in the Caribbean and feared German control of Haiti will give them a powerful advantage in the region. So they were scared, they were concerned, and say, hey, this German, they're marrying this black woman, this Levi, Benjamin, Judah woman, oh my goodness, they'll take over the whole land and they'll have control in the whole Caribbean. America said, no, we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure we cut that thing loose. We got to cut it out. So let's continue. As a result of increased instability in Haiti in the years before 1915, the United States heightened its activity to deter foreign influence. So America get tired. They got tired. So what they're trying to do, they say, you know what? We got to unhook the German. The German, they coming over. The French already there, we're dealing with that. Then the German, they come in. Man, this is not good. Because the German are the enemy back in those days of who? Of the American. Today, they're in good relation. But the Mosai move the spirit again. And the German, they're going to hit the hall. The German, they're going to go against who? America. He's coming. He's coming, buddy. He's coming, baby. Wait for it. He's coming. Beautiful tea. Since yesterday. Let's get it. Alright? He read. He said, between 1911 and 1915, 7 presidents were assassinated and overthrown in Haiti. Oh my goodness. Imagine that. Just between let me read it again. 1911 and 1915, 7 presidents, Haitian presidents, were assassinated and overthrown in Haiti. Who did it? The power that be, man. The power that be and overthrown in Haiti, increasing U.S. police make a fear of foreign intervention. In 1914, the Wilson administration sent U.S. Marine into Haiti. You see that? There we go. They remove. You see that? He said the Wilson Edom from America, right? Pharaoh Wilson administration sent U.S. Marine into Haiti. They remove $500,000 from the Haitian National Bank in December of 1914 for safekeeping in New York, thus giving the United States control of the bank. There we go, man. You see? Who did that? America. But they don't teach that. Do all the Haitians know that? They didn't know that. We bring it out to you from the government. This is a document from the government. This is from the U.S. government. You can go online and you get it. You can read it. Okay. So they took $500,000 cash from the Haitian National Bank in December of 1914 for safekeeping in New York, thus giving the United States control of the bank. That's how they took over the Bank of Haiti. Who? The United States. Babylon the Great. The hegemony. A country of dictatorship. America is the most dictatorship country. Imagine that it was Benin. Because if you say Haiti, you say Benin, Nigeria, Ghana, we the people. Imagine the Beninese go over there, the government of Benin, or the government of Nigeria. Imagine they were the one that went over there and took that money. Do you know what happened? The USA will go to war with them. The Europeans, they'll go to war with them. All these European so-called white people from Europe, America, Canada, they'll go to war against that so-called brother that went and took the money. But since it's America, France can't do anything. Germany, they can't do anything. Because it's the most powerful and mighty kingdom on the earth that took over. So what can you do? Nothing. So let's continue. We are at the end. He said, thus giving the United States control of the bank. In 1950, Haitian President Jean Villebrun-Guillaume Sam was assassinated. There we go. And the situation in Haiti quickly became unstable. And that's what they want. That's why the USA make sure with the CIA, the FBI, they assassinated the president, Haitian President Jean Villebrun-Guillaume. Right? And the situation in Haiti quickly became unstable. Because that's what they want. That's what the European Union, the United States of America, Canada, England, the power that be, that's what they want. They want us to fight, to kill each other. Once it is unstable, then they come in as war. The peacemaker. But they're the one behind doing all those things. But as long as we start fighting and killing each other, then they come out as a peacemaker. That's what they do, man. Right? Divide to rule, man. Let's continue. In response, President Wilson sent the U.S. Marine to Haiti to prevent anarchy. In actuality, the act protected U.S. access in the area and prevented a possible German invasion. That's what the whole thing. So the U.S. government under this devil, Wilson, Woodrow Wilson, what did he do? He sent the Navy, the military quick. He said, go over there and take over everything before the German go over there. Go over there and take everything. And what happened? It happened exactly. They went over and nobody reacted. The German didn't do anything. The French didn't do anything. The world stayed quiet. Because it's America that take over. What are you going to do? Did the Chinese say something? Did the Russians say something? Nothing. Let's continue. He said, the invasion ended with the Haitian-American Treaty in 1915. The article of this, so they forced our people to sign a treaty with them, right? Right after they invaded, the Haitian-American Treaty of 1915. The article of this agreement created the Haitian Gendarmerie, there we go, essentially a military force made up of U.S. citizens, there we go. You see that? U.S. citizens and Haitian and controlled by the U.S. Marine. There we go. The United States gained control over Haitian finances. There we go. Because whoever around you, rule over you, they control your finances. Or whoever control your finances, rule over you. Because your finances, that's your food, everything for you to dress up and do. What did the Most High say? Let's read it. Let's go over there, man. Hey. You told me 28, buddy. We're going back over there. We don't want to go over there, but we're going to have to now. We're going to have to go over there. Let's go over there. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy 28, right? And let's read from verses, we'll read right here. We're going to read verse 33. The fruit of thy land, and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Who? Haitian, Beninese, Nigerian. That's where Patrice Talon is crushing you. That's where Esau, Edom, America is crushing our brother, our sister throughout the fucking on this earth. It's not only in Haiti, in Mexico, Peru, Bolivia, Benin, Nigeria. Esau, Edom, they're crushing the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Indian. Is it only here in America? No. All over the world, we've been crushed. The 12 tribe being crushed. Why? Because we live in the midst of sin. Let me read it again. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. Right? Let's jump right here. This is the book of Deuteronomy 28 verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. That's where the French came over Haiti. Then the German came and took over. Then the American went and took over. Then the Chinese are taking over right now. Now there's a lot of Chinese over there taking over. You got all type of weakness going on in the land. Right? He said, the stranger that is within thee, say the Chinese come, they become richer. They set up business in their old store, restaurant, all type of thing. Meanwhile, the brother, they still there for 20, 50, 100 years. They in prosper. Still, why? Because in the midst of sin. Why? Deuteronomy 28. Because thou hearkenest not unto the law, thy God, to observe, to keep the law of the commandment. There we go. That's what it says. The stranger that is within thee. So they brought German guy from Germany, and they brought American guy from America, from USA to Haiti, and they start mingling and marrying the black woman and make mulatto, all these type of Edomite baby looking like us, but they are not one of us. Right? Keep in mind. Shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. That's why Haiti, they say, is the poorest among all the countries in the world. Why? Because witchcraft, weakness, voodoo, brujeria. It's not because of vaccine. It's not because they don't have vaccine. Because of voodoo, witchcraft, brujeria, santeria, idolatry, Christianity, all type of weakness and abominability. Because they're breaking the law of the commandment of the Moses in Benin, Nigeria, Togo, America, Chicago, Illinois, Alabama, and the list goes on and on and on. He shall lend to thee. So who took over their money? 500,000 is America. He shall lend unto thee, and thou shalt not lend unto him. He shall be the head. So who started ruling? After the French was the head, then the German came. Then the German were overtaken by the American, by the so-called American, the United Snake of America. And they took over, right? He said, what? He said, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And that's what's happening. Are we not the tail? Yeah, we the tail. Right? Why? Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy Yahweh, to keep his commandment and his statute which he commanded thee. Amen. Hallelujah. Do we keep it? We don't. As a nation, do we keep the law of the commandment? No. So let's continue reading. He said, the United States gained complete control over Haitian finances. There we go. And the right to intervene in Haiti whenever the U.S. government deemed necessary, anytime they want to. That's why Joe Biden said we're taking a look into it. Joe Biden, he said already, we look into it. Maybe we might send the military over there. We do that. That's a treaty between us and this sellout Negro in Haiti. That's the treaty. Okay? He said, and the right to intervene in Haiti whenever the U.S. government deemed necessary. The U.S. government also forced the election of a new pro-American president. There we go. I told you that's the whole agenda. They want to place the puppet. It's the same thing. That guy that been killed is because he's not profiting the U.S. They see everything. The guy just got killed, and all of a sudden they accuse him. They say 26 Colombian and 2, or 24 Colombian and two a Negro, Haitian, blah blah blah, all these things. No, it's a gang, man. They are gangs. The U.S. government, the French government, the German government, the United Nations, they all know they're all gangs, man. That's the power that be, man. Don't believe anything they tell you on the TV. Don't believe it. On the radio, on the TV, don't believe it's all lie, man. They're stagey. Everything they tell you is all stage. Watch this. It said the U.S. government also forced the election of a new pro-American president. You see? A new pro-American president, Philippe Sudré d'Artigonave, by the Haitian legislature in August 1915. The selection of a president, there we go, the selection of a president that did not represent the choice of the Haitian populace increased unrest in Haiti. There we go. The people never vote for him. It's the USA that just set him up. They pay money to a couple of people, corrupt couple of Negro, couple of Judah, Benjamin, live in Haiti, give them a bunch of money, boom, and they place him as the president. And the people start protesting. The same thing was happening before Jovenel Moïse got assassinated. Now, who knows? It's the same agenda. Maybe the US is behind it. Maybe France is behind. Maybe Germany is behind. Maybe the power that be there. Who knows? They want to accuse now who? The other brother, right? Right? Let's continue. Let us continue, right? Alright, let's read it. It says, following the successful manipulation of the 1915 election, so the Wilson, the American government, that's what they do. They manipulate election. They already know who they want as a puppet. You know, Patrice Talon in Benin that is doing all his weakness, all this evil. Guess what? Who set him up? Is Joe Biden or Joe Laden and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is aware everything happened in Benin, but he didn't give a damn about it. He doesn't care. Okay? You got French embassy, right? The U.S. embassy over there. They all see what's going on in Benin. The people protesting, the election was off. They didn't go through a normal election. He took the power with violence, bloodshed, all these things. What did they do? Nothing. Now, if the Mosai move the spirit and somebody kill him, or the U.S. get tired of Patrice Talon, or the French they get tired, guess what? They're going to pay somebody to put him to death. Isn't that happened to our forefather? It happened to who? Patrice Lumumba. It happened to who? Thomas Sankara. It happened to Jules-Christ Olympio father. And the list goes on and on. It happened to a lot of our brother, our forefather back in those days. Who did they use? They used the same bodyguard, the same brother, one of his best buddy. That's he trusted. Instead of trusting in the Most High, boom, they got killed. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So if the Most High move the spirit right now, guess what? Patrice Talon, in France, the Most High tired. France say, okay, we got to get rid of him. Alright, definitely he got to go. It's too much. It's a lot of going on in the country. The people protesting, they can't do it. Hey, listen, we don't want that because this is getting too open, too obvious, and we don't want it to be obvious. Guess what? They'll pay somebody to kill him. The American will pay somebody to kill him. That's what the U.S. government does. The FBI, the CIA, that's what they do. They overthrow government. You can look it up, man. You can look it up. How many government throughout the fuck of this earth, the USA government, the FBI, the CIA, they have overthrown. They'll place bomb in your car. They'll place drugs in your car just to accuse you, just to arrest you and take you to the jail. That's what they do. That's America is famous for that. They overthrow the Native Indian to steal the land, rob, rape their wife, do all type of evil. And they're still raping our women, our people till this very last day. But every one of you, you're going to pay. Okay? We got a good news for them. You're going to pay. And your woman and your wife, the Most High is going to destroy them. They'll be ravished too. Hey, it's in the Bible. Okay? So let us continue. We're heading to the end. Bear with me. It's been a long teaching, a long lesson. We stay in the spirit. It said, following the successful manipulation of the 1915 election, the Wilson, The Wilson administration attempted to strong arm the Haitian. You see, to strong arm. That's what they do. To strong arm the Haitian legislature into adopting a new constitution in 1917. So who's providing them weapon, all this? Who did that? The United States of America. They did that in Guatemala, Nicaragua. They did that in Chile. They did that in Venezuela. They did that in Haiti. And the list goes on. That's what they do. They did that in El Salvador, right? They give weapon to one side to fight against the government. That's what white people good at. They're good at that. They love violence. When they see blood and violence, they love it. They're the one that make the gun. He said this constitution allow foreign land ownership. There we go. Allow foreign to the USA. They want to start grabbing land, which had been outlawed since the Haitian Revolution as a way to prevent foreign control of the country. You see, they already removed that. But America said, no, we got to take over the land. So they pay people, they bribe. So they'll claim that Gaddafi was corrupted. Oh, African country corrupted. But who is the most corrupted? The United States of America, France, Germany, England. The most corrupted in the whole earth. I don't care if you believe it, you want to cry, you can cry, you don't believe it because you're stupid and you're wicked. That's why you don't believe it. Right? This is done, USA done it. It's nothing changes. The same thing happening to this very last day. They pay money, they bribe people for their interest. That's what they do. Let's read it. It said that have been outlawed since the Haitian Revolution as a way to prevent foreign control of the country. Extremely reluctant to change the long-standing law. They didn't want to do it, but they're going to have to do it. What did? The legislature rejected the new constitution. All right? They rejected. Lawmakers began drafting a new anti-American constitution. There we go. But the United States first president, Dartignave, right, dissolved the legislature. That's what we do. The legislature. They forced this sellout, this coup that they said that Philippe Sudre Dartignave, they forced him to dissolve the legislature. They dissolved the legislature, which did not meet again until 1929. That allowed them to do all type of weakness. To grab land, America, that's where you see the Clinton. Why do you think the Clinton, they keep on going? Are they the only one going over there? No. A lot of so-called Edomites, they go, so-called white people, Esau, Edom, they go over there to grab land, take over the land. Some of the gendarmerie's more unpopular policy, including racial segregation, press censorship, and forced labor, led to a peasant rebellion from 1919 to 1920. Imagine that, the people being protesting. The U.S. Senate sent an investigative committee into Haiti in 1921 to examine claims of abuse. Why you claim abuse in somebody's country? What you do over there? Pack your thing and get out of there, buddy. Stay in your house. Somebody being abused in their house, it shouldn't be your business. Let them deal with it. People being abused here in America. The native have been abused here in America, in Canada, all these places. How will you not address that? All of a sudden you jump in a plane, you want to go to somebody else and you want to address abuse. You see the hypocrisy, the weakness? And that's what happens when you trust in politicians and men. He said, and subsequently the U.S. Senate reorganized and centralized power in Haiti. The U.S. Senate, imagine that. That's abominable. Whew. And you to tell me that judgment won't come in America? That judgment, the Most High hand won't come in America? Okay. So you're going to get away with it? We live in the 21st century? Yeah, really? So everything is cool? The Most High forget about everything? America, the United States of America, Canada? Really? France, Germany? We wait and see. We're going to wait and see if the Most High will allow you. It's all the will of the Most High. We let the Most High deal with it. We ain't got to do it. Right? He said, reorganize and centralize power in Haiti. After the reorganization, Haiti remained fairly stable and a select group achieved economic prosperity. A select. Same thing happening right now. Capitalism. That's what you get. Capitalism. Few people grab the power, all the wealth, and they grab it for themselves, like this. And the rest suffer. Let's read it. It said, Haiti remained fairly stable, and a select group achieved economic prosperity, though most Haitians remain in poverty, more than 60%. In 1929, we're heading to the end of the article. In 1929, a series of strike and uprising led the United States to begin withdrawal from Haiti. In 1930, U.S. officials began training Haitian officials to take control of the government. There we go. They start training them to take control of the government. Who does that? The wicked. In 1934, the United States, in concert with President Franklin Roosevelt, right, good neighbor policy, watch this, officially withdrew from Haiti while retaining economic connection. So they see how you string in the country. So brothers and sisters, we got to repent. If you're so-called Levi, you're so-called Haitian, you Jamaican, you so-called Beninese, Nigerian, Cameroonese, this is a high season. We repent and we keep the commandment of the Most High. This is a high season. This is the only sign the Most High giving us. Don't think the Jovenel Moses is going to be the only one to be killed. No. It's more evil to happen. There will be more evil to happen. Not only in Haiti, it will be happening here in America, it will be happening in Africa, Benin, Nigeria, Togo, Ghana. Some of you think it's not going to happen. It's happening. Get ready. It's going to happen. You're going to see more earthquake, more building crushing, more houses on fire. You're going to see more evil. As long as you lie in sin, you're doing weakness, you don't want to repent, the Most High says you're going to perish. You're going to perish. Let's read three more precepts and we're going to shut it down. Three more precepts, right? We're going to shut it down at 6:30, Lord willing, if the Most High allow us. I know there's a lot of precepts that I'll be bringing out. Let's go to Isaiah. We'll read 28:15. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 15. Unto you Haitian, right? The so-called Haitian, Nigerian, Benin, the so-called African American, the so-called Latino and Native Indians scattered throughout the fucking be served with the Israelite. Let's keep in mind. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 28, right? 28, we're going to read 15. 28 and 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death. So you're always calling on the Edom, and they're all calling Esau Edom. You're making an agreement with death, with America. And with hell are we at agreement. So the Haitian come right now in the power after the assassination of Jovenel Moses or Moise. Guess what they're saying? They're calling on the U.S. and the United Nations to come and take care of the country for them. Okay, with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lie our refuge, and on the falsehood have we hid ourselves. And we're falsehood. You want to run to Egypt. You want to go to the so-called white man. You want to call Esau. You want to call the German. You want to call the French, right? Watch this. Let's continue. Behold, there we go. He said, therefore, thou said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation. The Most High lay in Zion to overthrow Israel, okay? A foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. You see, he that believeth shall not make haste. He that believeth shall not make haste. He that believeth shall not make haste. You see, if you believe in who? And you trust in the Lord Yahweh Mashiach, because he does not lie. He's not a liar. He was righteous and perfect. So trust in him, then you bring your trustness before the Most High. So keep in mind, do not trust in Egypt. Don't go down to Egypt. Go to Isaiah 47 and 10. Isaiah 47 and 10. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 47 and verses 10. Right? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 47 and verses 10. This is literally the destruction, right? The destruction of Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great. Destruction. When the Moses sent down the angel and they'll cast down the stone. Okay? So keep that in mind. Okay? So let's read it. Let's read it. This is the book of Isaiah 47, right? And we're just going to read verses 10. Isaiah 47 and 10. For thou hast trusted in thy weakness, You see who? America. Babylon the Great, they have trusted in their weakness, oppressing all the nations on the earth. For thou trusted in thy weakness, thou have said, none see me. That's why America, that's why they got secret agent, secret this, secret everything, secret, classified document, classified file. They don't want anybody to see all it. Because they don't want it. They say nobody see me because they classify everything. Right? Hey, watch this. For thou hast trusted in thy weakness. Thou hast said, that's why America say, Esau, Edom, that's what they say. None see me. None see me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises. So America won't know when the Most High send the evil. They won't know. France, Germany, they won't know. Russia, they won't know. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. So they won't be able to save themselves. They won't be able to see the FBI, the 911, the police. They won't be able to save America. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly. He says suddenly. Okay? Which thou shalt not know it. Right? So continue verse 12. Send thou now with thy enchantment and with the multitude of thy sorcery. So thy sty gazer, those one, all those things that you do. Right? Okay? Wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Okay, so keep in mind, the Most High wants you to be able to prevail. Babylon the Great. Let's go to Jeremiah 13 and 25. This is Jeremiah 13 and verse 25. Jeremiah 13 and 25. Jeremiah 13 and 25. Jeremiah 13 and verses 25. Jeremiah 13 and 25. And he read, this is the Lord, the portion of thy measure from me, said the Lord, because thou hast forgotten me. So the so-called blacks, the Haitian, the brother in West Africa, Benin, all these places, you know it, right? Because, let me read it again. This is thy Lord, the portion of thy measure from me, said the Lord, because thou hast forgotten me and trusted in falsehood. There we go. There we go. Our people trust in the lies, the doctrine of devils. Let's go to Amos 2 and 4. Amos 2 and 4. This is Amos chapter 2 and verses 4. Let's read it. This is the book of Amos chapter 2 and verse 4. Thus said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah. Who? Judah, the Levi, Benjamin, and Judah. For 3 transgressions of Judah and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. So the Most High said, listen, man, I'll punish you. I'll still punish you. The Most High said, I'll still go ahead and punish you. It doesn't matter. You see that? Because